Section 8.6 is on solving rational equations. So basically we're taking the fractions we've been working with and we are going to solve them in equations. And there is a trick that we do that is important to understand. It's like adding the fractions. We need to find the least common denominator. And when you look at all three denominators, you want to find the least common denominator throughout the whole thing. And so as you remember when we were adding fractions, that the least common denominator includes all of the factors that are different from each denominator. And then of course the highest degree of those factors. Okay, so in this case, it's pretty simple. You've got an x plus 3 factor, so the least common denominator has to have an x plus 3. It also has to have a 2. This one has a 2 and a 5. So not only does it have to have 1, 2, it has to have 1, 5 as well. So basically 10 is also part of the least common denominator. 2 goes into 10, 10 goes into 10, x plus 3 goes into x plus 3, so there we have it. Now, that's the trick. Every time we're going to do these problems, we're going to come up with the least common denominator first. Very important you know how to do that. Now, the second part of this is not like adding. It can be, and I'm going to show you two ways of doing this, but what I like to do is I like to just go ahead, because it's an equation, I am going to multiply both sides of the equation by the least common denominator. I don't have to multiply top and bottom. I only have to multiply the top, because you're multiplying both sides of an equation. So if I multiply this side of the least common denominator, basically what I'm doing is I'm distributing it to both terms. So I am going to multiply both terms by 10 and x plus 3. 10 and x plus 3. Notice I spaced it out a little bit just so I had room to write, a little bit of room to write. And then I'm going to multiply this side of the equation by 10 and x plus 3. So that's why I can do that. I can multiply both sides by the same thing. I don't have to multiply tops and bottoms like I was with adding. I don't have an equation when I'm adding. But in this case, I do have an equal sign. So as long as I multiply both sides, I'm okay. Now, in this one, I am going to now simplify before I actually go ahead and multiply. So I'm going to simplify, and by multiplying by the least common denominator, I'm able to get rid of all of the denominators. That's the key. So here I'm going to be able to cancel out the x plus 3's, leaving me with 20. This one, 2 goes into 10 5 times. That leaves me with 15 times x plus 3, or plus 15x plus 45. This one, the 10's cancel, leaving me with 19 times x plus 3, or 19x plus 57. There, I just got rid of all of my denominators because all of the denominators canceled with the least common denominator, and that leaves me with this equation. It's a linear equation, so all I have to do is solve it. Maybe subtract 15x from both sides. I get 4x on this side. Subtract 57 here. I end up with 65 minus 57 is 8. So x is equal to 2. Now, that was pretty simple. However, you always want to double check your answer. Number one, it doesn't make any of the denominators 0. Number 2, it is true. It makes the equation true. So 2 over 5 plus 3 over 2 is that 19 over 10. And we can go through it. 2, that's 4 tenths plus 5, 15 tenths Sure enough, that's 19/10. It checks off. Always double check your answers when you're solving, of course. All right, number 1B. Go ahead and try this if you want to pause the video and see if you get this one. Do exactly the same thing I did and see what happens, okay? All right, welcome back. I am going to go through it. Least common denominator. The least common denominator, 12 goes into 48, so 48 has to be in there. X minus 4 has to be in there. So 48 and x minus 4. 48 and x minus 4. 48 and x minus 4. All right, so that leaves me with eliminating the denominators. 12 goes into 48 4 times, so that leaves me with 28 times x minus 4. X minus 4 is eliminate, leaving me with 9 times 48. 48 cancels, leaving me with 55 times x minus 4. Now I just have to simplify it and solve it, and I'm good to go. All right, so without having to do too much math here, let's see, I got 28x, that's easy, minus 4 times 28, that would be 132, I believe. I'm going to double check just because I'm a little foggy brain this morning. 28 times 4, 112. I don't know where I got 132 from. Good thing I checked. Oh yeah, that makes sense. I know what I did wrong. 9 times 48.